Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's KiMilli out of Savannah, Georgia, and Iho. All right. So listen, in this video, what I want to talk to you guys about is why you should not dissolve an LLC simply because you are not using it. So of course, I like to tell you about my inspiration for a video whenever I do it. And my inspiration for this is, I've seen a lot of people say that that's what they were going to do. Oh, I have an LLC years ago, but I'm not doing anything with it. And I actually saw this YouTube video of a young lady who said that, and she was, well, this is what she wanted to do. She had a lash business, and she named her LLC something something lash, which, by the way, in my consultations, I tell you how you should name your LLC so that you can get the most funding for it. Because in case you guys do not know, a lot of people are naming their LLC with their full name, which, you know, LLC stands for limited liability company. So it's where you separate yourself from the liability of your company. How much can you separate yourself if it has your full name, right? So this is something that I help people with when I do my private consultations. Hey, what's going on, Stephanie? As well as the fact that, guys, listen, some of you are putting in your LLC name, you know, one specific item that you sell. You're not having a long-term vision for your LLC that later on down the line, you might start selling other things or growth. Some of you are putting your local geographic location in your LLC name, which means that what if you stop, like if I name my LLC Savannah Suites, well, now if I branch out into New York and I start to get a worldwide audience, you know, could I still call it Savannah Suites? Yes, but many of you are finding out that as your business takes off, you want a broader name. So again, these are some of the things that I talk about in my private consultations. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. So this young lady had a lash business, and she named her LLC with lashes in the name. Well, later on, when what was that noise?
Your mouthing.
Oh, okay. So later on, when she wanted to branch out into nails and other things that were beauty, right? She was like, oh, this lash LLC name is not serving me. So she went to the Secretary of State to change her business name. Well, and by the way, how much you pay for your LLC, how much it costs you to renew every year, how much you pay for address changes, name changes, things of that nature. And a lot of you are changing the name and the address because there are some few key things that you didn't know about before you created your LLC, which I talk about in my private consultations, right? Give you that heads up. That's why the consultation has a price, and that's why a lot of people don't mind paying the price, because of how much money I save you by telling you what not to do wrong. Okay, so that you don't have to pay all of these fees for changing names, changing addresses, changing all this other stuff.
Hi, Jeanette.
Anyway, you can't distract me, son, now. So going back to it, she wanted to change her name from something specific to lashes to something that was more broad, that reflected the whole entire beauty industry. So in her particular state, it was $20. No. Excuse me. It was $50 to change the name of her LLC. Now, in the video, the young lady goes to the website and she's like, what? It's $50? And she's like, oh no. I'll just dissolve it. I'll just, you know, forget this. And then she was like, what? It's $20 to dissolve it? So she paid $20 to dissolve her LLC as opposed to paying $30 extra to change the name. I was like, no. Here is why you do not want to do that, guys. Because your LLC needs to, when it seasons, when it has age on it, like, that is valuable. You don't, if you're not really, and what most people do is they just form an LLC because they see everybody else doing it, right? But they don't really ever plug in and understand what your business entity is a valuable asset if you know how to use it. So even if you, like, for my son, I have LLCs for him. A friend of mine, he's not a friend, he's a friend of mine in my head. But I met Haitian CEO at Recession Proof in Miami, and he was telling the story about how his dad, I think, had an LLC from 16 years ago when the family had a barbershop business. And just by some fluke, he remembered that LLC. So he asked his dad, like, what's going on with it? And his dad was like, it's just sitting there. So he was like, hey, let me get that off of your hands. Y'all, an LLC with 16 years of age, do you know what he was able to do with that? Well, he understood So he got that LLC from his father, went ahead, had it changed over. And once you get an LLC, it's called an age corp. You can get age corp, you can get a shelf corp. There's all types of, and people actually pay for these. There are people out there that create LLCs every week because they're just aging them. And then they decide whether or not they want to use it, whether they want to get business funding on it for themselves, whether they want to sell it off to someone. There's a young lady, and I was listening on one of my mentorship calls, and she buys shelf corps all the time. And then goes and gets vehicles in those business names after she changes them over. And even if you get like a corp that's in another city, another state, you can have it, I forget what it's called. Was it a domicile redirect or something like that? You can have it transferred to your state or whatever state you want, right? If your state if their fees are too high and that's not something you want to pay. But I was listening to What's Going On Fazo, and it was actually on the mentorship that we're in, Cars and Bars. And this young lady was saying that a friend of hers had an LLC that she was doing nothing with, right? Never did anything with it. But because it had that age on it, she was like, hey, let me get that LLC off you for $500. You'll sell it to me for $500? Her friend, who is doing nothing with the LLC, was like, shoot, yeah, I'll sell it to you for $500. She sold it to the woman for $500. The woman changed the name, put it in the state that she wanted, changed the name, changed all the information, paid for it, and guess what? It is first of all, that's a business expense that you can write off, but it was worth it to her because she's paying for age. There are some things that you can shortcut, guys. There are other things that you cannot. Time is one of those things. So there are people who will pay money to save time. And with the LLCs, if they're going for funding, if they want to get yes, what's going on, bro? Dexter Scott, he said, you a young man teaching. I said, absolutely, because I talked to my son about the LLCs and the ones that I have him as partial owner on some of my LLCs. You don't say what the name is, son. I'm happy you whispered it to me. But yeah, we didn't put in our business out there in the streets like that. But yeah, some of y'all are creating the LLCs and you have your home address on it, and that's a public record. So anybody can pop up at your door because you have linked your LLC to your home address. So again, the people that are paying me for consults, they're not paying me for no reason. They're paying me because I have plugged into some information, and they are doing what? They are saving time by having to, first of all, the longer it takes you to look up all this crap on your own, to go down the endless abyss that is YouTube, the gotcha web, the longer it takes you to do that, the longer it's going to take you to form your own LLC. And what did I say? You want to season that LLC. All right. So if it's taking you a long time to form it, oh my gosh. I formed my first one last year, September. And that one I haven't done anything with yet. But guess what? It's on the books as have been as being formed last year, September, regardless of whether I've done anything with it or not. And since then, last month I sent I had my tax accountant invoice me to form 2 more LLCs. And I'm just going to keep forming them, seasoning them, and then I'll decide. Some of them I know I'm going to keep. I'm going to have different ones for different businesses, for different things, right? And then others of them I can decide whether I'll sell it as a aged corp or whatever it is I want to do, because people will pay you for these LLCs. So again, that is the reason why you should never, ever, ever dissolve. And don't just be like, by the way, all this is entertainment purposes. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not telling you anything to do. I'm just sharing my experiences and my opinions. Okay? So I'm not telling you to go buy an LLC because, again, there's some things to that. You want to make sure if you're buying it, it's clean. It doesn't owe the IRS. You're not buying something that has, debt attached to it. So all of this stuff, understand that people who are out here making these money moves, they know what they're doing. And a lot of times they paid for that information so they can move quicker, a lot quicker than you who's trying to save a buck by not paying for it, right? So just understand that. And y'all, it's money out here to be had. So many of you missed money last year because you're out here operating basically as an employee, which is nothing wrong with being an employee, but you're missing out on tax deductions. You're missing out on government money. You're missing out on so much, and you're having to work so much harder simply because you don't know and you're not willing to pay for the information to get you there quicker. Because, think about it. When I was working a job, I only had time to work get off work, and prepare for work the next day. I never had any free time to like sit down and absorb all this stuff I'm telling you about right now. That's why people pay me, because while they're at work, I'm on a mentorship, I'm on a course, I'm on a call, and I'm getting the information that they cannot get. I'm kind of sort of like working as a personal assistant for them. The people who pay me for my consulting, it's like they have a personal assistant, right? Someone to curate the information for them, and then I just give them what they need based on what they want. Saves them a whole lot of time. But guys, I'm telling you, everything that you want is out there for you, but you've got to know where to find it. And once you see it, you've got to act very, very quickly, because there are some things that you can shortcut, and there are other things that you cannot. Time is one of those things. So, and talk to your family members. Maybe some of your family members have created LLCs and they're not doing anything with them. If they're not, see how much, your family member, your sister, your brother, your cousin, they might take $100 or $200 for an LLC. Man, get that thing. Get that thing, change your name, put it in the state that you want. Get a virtual address, put it on there so your information is not all out here in these virtual streets. Okay, and then start working toward transferring some of your bills into that company's name. Some of you are only getting a percentage off of your cell phone bill. Why? Because you're operating your business and you don't have an LLC. Get that LLC. Now go to T-Mobile, Verizon, and all those places and get the bill put in your business name so you can write off the whole entire bill. Okay? I have friends that have their cars in their business name. I have friends that have their houses in trust. It is really real out here. And this is something that you need to be a part of. Don't hate on the rich people. Become one of them. And one of the best ways that you can become one of them is to start moving smart. Own everything, control nothing on paper, and start learning how to do this, not only for yourself, but for your future generations. If you know it, then you can tell this one, your children, you can tell your grandchildren, you can tell your great, and then we can start to really change how our bloodline maneuvers financially. Does that make sense? I see some hearts and everything. So I'm happy that everybody, I guess, is picking up what I'm putting down. Again, if you want to book a consultation with me right now, my rates are $65 for 30 minutes, $100 for an hour. And that will change. As I learn more, I become more valuable. That means my rates go up. So it's subject to change at any time. If you want an invoice, I have some bookings this week. So I only take so many people throughout. Dexter said, come on through, sis. You know how I roll. You know how I roll, okay? But I have some consultations booked, and I only take so many per day because I still need enough time to run my other businesses, right? So I don't book up. So the later you wait, the later I'll have to book you out. But all you have to do is text either 30 consult or 60 consult. If you want a 30-minute one for 65, text 30 consult to 6788. 617-711. Bam. See, you like how I did that, right? Yeah. They should remember that number, right? It's just like the carpet, the Empire carpet, people. And if you want a 60-minute, $100 consultation, then you text 60 consult to 6788 617-711. All right, y'all. We're going to finally leave the house now and go have some fun. I'll talk to you guys later. Did you know this information that I just shared with you? Did I give you something to think about? Are you going to go to your family members and your friends and ask them, hey, you got any LLCs? Guys, get these things. If they don't know what to do with it, then you... Man, you see that? Man, your son is like your bodyguard. I love it. He really is. You have no idea, Sharon. You know how sons are with their mothers. But and I like it. I enjoy it because one day he ain't gonna be studying his old mama.
Oh, yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Well, I'm happy I have you on camera because the day that you ignore me, I'm gonna be like, remember this, son?
Oh, I ignore you.
So yeah, I eat it up, Sharon. But anyway, did you guys know about this? Did I give you something to think about? Do you have an LLC already? Did you think that you only had to have? Yeah, that's Coach.
Oh,
I know you don't know him as Michael Anderson. Yeah, game over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But
the clothes.
yes. But did you know about this? Do you have an LLC? Did you think that you could only have one LLC? Do you have your home address on your LLC? Tisk. Right? Are you going to talk to your family members and friends and see if any of them have formed LLCs that you can pay them for and assume the ownership and have that nice seasoning that you cannot shortcut? Guys, why are you pushing me? You're just pushing me, and I'm trying to fight back, but you're pushing harder. All right, y'all. We got to go. Bye. Oh, like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.